Welcome back, everyone. My name is Bryant Stone, Chief Investment Officer of Top Rank Advisors. Once again, we appreciate you guys hopping on to this episode of Wealth Wednesday. Today, what I'm going to talk about is a question that I get a lot, and that's how to calculate my FERS annuity. So here at Top Rank Advisors, we do a lot of work in the federal employee space, whether you're a NASA employee, whether you're Customs Border Patrol, whether you're CIA, whether you're Food and Drug Administration, whether you're Veteran Affairs. That's a niche market that we do work in. We have been for the last 7 or 8 years. And in their retirement system, they have what's called a FERS annuity, also known to the federal employee as their pension. And a lot of times these federal employees do not know how to calculate their FERS annuity. They don't know what their pension projections are going to be. So today's episode, I'm just going to talk just about a few examples of what that looks like from a mathematical perspective, and then also, too, the different options that go with that. So let's just say that you're 62 years of age, you have 20 years of service, and that you're high three, meaning that the highest 3 years that you've worked with the federal government, your salary has averaged about $100,000, because that's what they use for the calculation. So let's just say that's $100,000, and let's say that you're looking to retire. So how would you calculate that pension projection, okay? So I'm going to use the calculator here, so stay with me here. So we got 100,000. You're going to multiply that by 0.011. Once again, if you're 62 and you've worked at least 20 years of federal service, you're actually going to get an extra 10% increase in your FERS annuity check. So you would times that by 0.011. So that comes out to be 1,100. Now let's multiply that by your years of service, which is 20 years. Okay, so that's $22,000. So that $22,000 represents what your pension check, also known as the FERS annuity, is going to be for the rest of your life. Okay, now that's going to get cost of living adjustments, which is dependent upon the consumer price index, but the starting point is going to be about $22,000. Now, if you're a federal employee, if you do have a spouse, that option is called the unreduced FERS annuity. That option does not come with a survivorship. So if you pass away, your spouse would not be able to collect any type of survivorship. If you do have a spouse and you want to keep the health insurance in retirement, it also would not allow you to keep that health insurance in retirement. Okay, so if you are married and you have a spouse, that may not be the option that you may want to select. Maybe it may be. It just depends, specifically on your situation. Now, option 2 that you can select is called the maximum survivorship annuity. Now, with the maximum survivorship annuity, simply what you're going to do is you're going to take about a 10% decrease in your FERS annuity from the unreduced FERS annuity. So let's take that $22,000. Let's multiply that by 0.9. That's taking off 10%. So your maximum survivorship annuity option FERS annuity check for the rest of your life annually is going to be $19,800, okay? And once again, that's going to get a cost of living adjustment. It's going to increase over time. Now, if you do have a spouse, that does come with a survivorship option. So how you make the calculation on that is we're going to take that original amount, that $22,000, we're going to multiply that by 50%. So if your spouse were to outlive you, they would get an $11,000 check for the rest of their life, okay? And then also that spouse would also get or also be able to collect the health insurance in retirement as well. So if that's something that's important to you and your spouse, to make sure that they can keep the health insurance in retirement and that they can get a survivorship option, when you pass away, that may be an option that you may want to select. Now, option 3 is called the partial survivorship annuity option, okay? Now, with the partial survivorship annuity option, we're going to take that original amount, $22,000, like we said. That's the unreduced FERS annuity amount. We're going to shave off 5% from that, so times 0.95. So that gives us $20,900, okay? So if you chose that partial survivorship annuity option, you're going to get a $20,900 check gross with plus cost of living adjustments like we just said for the rest of your life as long as you live. And then if you were to pass away and there's a spouse in the picture and you want that spouse to collect a survivorship, simply what you would do is you take that $22,000, we're going to multiply that by 25%, so that's $5,500. So your spouse would get, if they were to outlive you, they would get a $5,500 annual check each year for as long as they live for the rest of their life. And they also would be able to collect the health insurance in retirement as well. So some of you out there may be asking, well, Bryant, why would I select the partial survivorship annuity option if I do have a spouse? It's a lesser amount for my spouse in the back end, even though I get more up front. Well, a situation like that where you may select that is if, number one, let's say that your spouse has a longer life expectancy than you. So you may not think that they ever will collect the survivorship option. So you're going to collect a higher amount up front. But you do want them to keep the health insurance, because the health insurance that you'll keep with the federal government in retirement is typically a very good insurance. So it's always something that you're going to want to consider keeping in retirement. So it may not be the right option for you. It may be the right option for you. I always tell my clients to weigh the pros and cons when it comes to that. But to recap, you're going to have the unreduced annuity option, which is going to pay you out the most. You're going to have the maximum survivorship annuity option, which is going to pay out the highest survivorship to your spouse. And then you're also going to have the partial survivorship annuity option, which is going to pay you out the second highest amount, but it's going to pay out your spouse the least highest amount. So that's just one example on how to calculate your FERS annuity. So let's give you another example. Let's say that you've met your minimum retirement age. So let's say you're 57 and you have 30 years of service. So let's pull out the calculator again. And let's just say, for simple math again, your high three is 100,000. So to do the math on that, we're going to take the 100,000 again. We're going to multiply that now by 1% because you are not 62. You only can get it multiplied by the 1.1% if you're 62 and you met at least 20 years of service. So you're 57, you've met your 30 years, you're going to calculate that by 1%. So now that's $1,000. You're going to multiply that by 30, your years of service. So now your unreduced FERS annuity option is going to be $30,000. And then the subsequent options are going to follow the same math. To do the maximum survivorship annuity option, you're going to shave off 10% of that $30,000 to see what your benefit is. If you do the partial survivorship annuity option, you're going to shave off 5%, and then the survivorship options would follow the same sequence as far as how the math works. Now, something else that you would get that a lot of federal employees are unaware of, it's called the Special Retirement Supplement, also known as the FERS Supplement, also known as the Bridge. I've heard it called a lot of different names by federal employees, but the technical name is the Special Retirement Supplement. And what that means is that if you're a federal employee and you've retired at your MRA, your minimum retirement age, you've met at least 30 years, the government actually is going to give you a benefit to help you collect another payment outside your FERS annuity until you're Social Security age eligible, okay? So the math on that is pretty simple. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at whatever your Social Security benefit would potentially be at age 62. So let's just say that's $2,000, okay? And let's put that in the box over here. Let's take your years of service. So we said you've worked 30 years. We're going to divide that into 40. So that's 75%. Now we're going to take that 75% and we're going to multiply that by what your Social Security benefit would be at age 62. So we said it's going to be $2,000. Let's pull it out of the box. So let's take that 75%, multiply that by $2,000. So that's $1,500. So that means that your FERS supplement or your Special Retirement Supplement is going to be $1,500 a month or $18,000 a year. And let's say that you chose the unreduced FERS annuity option. That was $30,000. You have the FERS supplement, which is $18,000. So you have a total payment of $48,000 a year up until age 62. And then at 62, that FERS supplement is going to fall off because, once again, you're going to be eligible for Social Security age. So these are just little small different nuances that you need to know. You need to know how to run your numbers when it comes to this. I would highly recommend that you run your numbers each and every single year. Obviously, our firm does that every single day. We can help you with that as well. Once again, as always, guys, we appreciate you guys hopping on. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.